Power Preservation is a stasis helmet mod that allows you to generate more orbs with your super, at least that's what it says it does. What it actually does is it grants your super an additional orb pool in which you can generate an infinite amount of orbs from. Pretty goddamn powerful. The catch is, however, you can only generate an orb every second or so it does have its limits. However, the only super this works differently on is actually Well of Radiance. You see, you can't really deal damage with Well of Radiance itself, however, while you're standing in your own well, your weapons will deal super damage. And what that means with this mod is that killing an enemy with a weapon will create an orb of power. Unfortunately, it seems they may have forethought this though, because you can only generate up to 4 orbs with your own well. However, thanks to the new build crafting update coming next season, this mod is going to become a lot easier to put on your armor pieces, so those 4 orbs are actually pretty goddamn free. Also, while you're in your behemoth super, hold your slam while sliding, and then just before you leave the slide, activate your Howl of the Storm melee. What this will do is it will do both of the attacks at the same time. It won't save any energy or anything like that, but it is kind of like a quick attack if you're far away from a target. On a similar but definitely less useful note, if you activate your lightning surge off a ledge and then activate your storm trance quickly after, you get a huge burst of speed going into your super. Unfortunately, you still do use the melee, but it can be actually quite powerful in PvP. Also, number 2, most weapons in this game have a reload speed cap. This is probably to stop people from firing like 12 rockets in 3 seconds, but for some reason there are 4 weapons that do not have this reload speed cap. Those are machine guns, shotguns, what's the other one? 150 scouts and bows. Machine guns having an extremely high reload speed isn't particularly practical in any way. It can be good, I guess, but it's, you know, nothing groundbreaking. And for 150 scouts and bows, it's the same deal. It's not particularly amazing in any way. However, for shotguns, it is definitely very practical to take advantage of, mainly due to one shotgun called the Fourth Horseman. With the Fourth Horseman and an insanely high reload speed, you can pump out a lot of shells in a very, very short amount of time. And I haven't done any DPS testing or anything like that, but I can assure you that that will shred the shit out of something. Also, number 3. Explosive enemies in this game won't always count as actual enemies. They can count for stuff like elemental ordnance and generating elemental wells, but they also won't count for stuff like kill clip. Now, this isn't particularly game breaking in any way, but it is really f***ing annoying when I want my goddamn kill clip. Also. I know this might seem obvious to some people, but it's definitely worth clarifying. The extra projectiles from Cataclysmic Nova Bomb or Slover Bomb will only actually appear after a certain distance. It is nothing to do with the enemy or anything like that. It is literally just it has to travel a certain distance. Also, the tracking ball thing itself can actually block shots from enemies, which is quite useful in PvP. It can also block shots from allies, which is not useful anywhere. This is most likely why you've been told do not throw Nova Bomb during damage phase, because you will screw up everyone's damage. Also, number 5. If you use your heavy attack while you don't have full guard energy, you'll do an uncharged heavy attack. The difference between this and a normal heavy attack is that the uncharged heavy attack is weaker, but only uses 1 ammo. Now, this is particularly good on vortex frames, as you'll still get the insane AoE of the normal heavy attack. And it's especially good once you pair it with Tireless Blade. Tireless Blade will grant you 1 ammo every 2 kills you get with a sword. And because of Vortex Frame's insane AoE, it is quite easy to actually just get infinite ammo forever. Also, another thing with swords, this one being very, very, very weird. If you heavy attack in the air, you'll do an uppercut, which uses 2 ammo. This has been in the game forever. But if you swing and then do an uppercut, it will cost 2 ammo in total, meaning both attacks only use 1 ammo, including the uppercut. But why it does this, I have no idea, but it does do it, so, I mean, you might as well take advantage of it. Okay, this one is actually quite awful. The reticle is not actually in the center of the screen, or for that matter, any single HUD element isn't in the center of the screen. If you zoom in very close, you can actually see, yeah, it's just 1 pixel out of line. And the reason for this is because there is no center pixel. As long as you're playing in an even resolution, aka basically every resolution, at least I hope, there is quite literally no center pixel for the reticle to go on, so it just goes to the right. And again, same with every other HUD element. Also, same with every other game. Every other game does the exact same thing because, well, it is what it is. Also, on a much worse note in my opinion, the super bar isn't straight. That one sucks. I hate that one. Also, 6. You probably heard this thousands of goddamn times already, but there are an amazing amount of people who do not know champion mods do more than just stun champions. For example, overload mods will also stop enemies from using their abilities, like Minotaur's teleporting or overload champions healing. It'll also reduce their damage by 25%. Barrier mods will also allow your weapons to pierce through one enemy and also pierce through defensive structures like Vandal, Taken, Bubble, things, I don't know what you call them. And then Unstop will allow you to stun a target no matter what as long as they're unshielded. These effects also do stuff in PvP, some don't though, like the entirety of Unstop doesn't do anything. And they also work on exotic weapons that already benefit from anti-champion capabilities, like Revision 0. But yeah, very useful thing to know. 7. When you take damage with Tarrabah, you get a small bit of charge. And the thing about this though is the charge is just a set amount, which means if you find anything that does a low amount of damage but ticks very fast, like a wizard bubble, you can just get like a really easy amount of charge for basically nothing. Same with something like dust fields in PvP. Also, and this one is definitely a lot more interesting, Cerberus doesn't have fall off damage, it has fall up damage. Actually, no, more specifically, it has a bell curve of fall up and then fall off damage. Yeah, Man, I have no idea what Bungie was doing with this one. I think one of the funniest things about this though is at a certain point, ADSing will actually decrease your damage per bullet because the zoom is multiplying with the range, giving you more of an effective range, putting you lower down on the bell curve. Yeah, this gun's so weird, man. But wait. Defensive Bulwark is a class armor that gives you an overshield for a 4th of your super when you finish an enemy. The neat thing about this one though is that it can be healed by normal healing effects. So Well of Life or even Sunspots Restoration will actually heal the overshield. Pretty good for stuff like Tommy's Matchbook maybe. It'll also stack with some overshields. To be honest, I have no idea how overshields work, so I don't know if that's normal or not, but it does, so you know, that yeah. Currently with the standard mod system we have right now, this isn't very practical because it is a 4th of your super. However, next season it's going to be using armor charges instead of your super, so you know, that could actually be quite good. Also 9. Almost, I don't know for sure, projectiles in this game are actually just a hitbox. Like a physical hitbox that you can climb on. Obviously it's incredibly hard to do it, but it is possible. Very, very weird stuff. 10 or so. Stasis is Anti Barrier. This has been a thing since its release, but I swear to God, recently it's been buffed to be even better. And by that I mean it can now freeze champions while they're actually in their bubble itself. AoE abilities will actually be able to just freeze completely through the bubble as well. Though some more projectile and direct abilities, you will have to just walk inside the bubble itself and then freeze them, but you know, it still works. Also, you know that thing with the Titan Glaive and the Titan Stasis Super where you go in and you smash it to pieces? Yeah, you can do that. Fuck you. Oh, 11. All weapons, at least bullet-based weapons, can ricochet. They just have to be shot at a low angle. Yeah, I'm out of ideas. And now it's the segment where I fix all the misinformation I spread on my last video. Number 1, volatile will count as an ability when it wants to. As we've seen before, it works for stuff like Echo of Expulsion and also Feed the Void, but it doesn't work for stuff like Monochromatic Maestro or Golden Tricorn's second proc. I don't think there's any pattern to this, you're just gonna have to test to see if it works for whatever it is or not. Number 2, Tether does actually work for kill trackers and stuff like that. I don't know what I screwed up in the video, but it does work. Also, I figured out it works with Echo of Expulsion equipped as well, which it didn't used to in the past, which is interesting. And then thirdly, and definitely most importantly, No Time to Explain does the one-shot thing as well. And that is about it. Sorry this video took so long to come out. I definitely wasn't lazy and was totally working my ass off the entire time. But yeah, just like last time, if you want another one of these videos, be sure to tell me ideas. I don't have enough ideas for another video currently, but you do, so give me your thoughts. Yeah, other than that, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed. See ya.